Hello! So I am doing a video about my book and I'm going to be very honest and tell you just a little bit about everything about it. And we're going to talk about money because everybody loves to talk about money. So I guess the main question, I've got a lot of highlighter on my nose. Amelia can't do makeup. So I think the main question on a lot of people's lips is how are you making money from the book and how much are you getting paid and all that, and I'm here to answer your questions. But I'm not going to tell you how much I'm making. I actually wanted to, but I realised that you're not supposed to. I was advised not to, which is fine, so I'm not going to do that. I don't want to break any rules. So yeah, I can't tell you how much, but I'm going to explain in as much detail as possible and give you an idea about the publishing world. Back when I was younger, I used to think if you were an author, like if someone said, yeah, they're an author, I'd be like, oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing. You must be racking it in. It's kind of different to how you might think. This is more of just an educational video and I've learnt a lot through getting this book published. Now, a little bit of self-promo because Amelia loves self-promoing. If you don't also understand, I'm not like some experienced author. I have a book coming out, Every Colour of You. I will link it down below. And it's been a long journey for me and it's out in November. And so this is just my take on being an author and the experience of it all. You first find out kind of how much you're going to make when you look through the contract and they make you an offer, and basically in the offer they offer you an advance. I always heard about an advance and I always thought, oh my gosh, I doubt I'll get an advance. But I did, I got an advance, and it's a very common thing, I think, to get advances. You don't get advances if you're self-published, obviously, because you're self-publishing, that would be you paying yourself. And I think sometimes on really, really small independent publishers, I'm not sure if they do advances. Don't hold me to that, because like I said, this is just from my experience, I don't know everything. Now, the way I see an advance is you are kind of being paid for the work that you have to do in order to get it published. Yes, it's kind of like being paid for your time, because once you get the book deal, it's not like get the book deal and it becomes like this in a couple of weeks. There's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of editing, there's a lot of different character structures, there's a lot of different thoughts and feelings, and there's a lot of back and forth. Honestly, it is a lot of work. I love it because I love writing, but for people who have a full-time job, whoa, I don't know, it must be a little bit, it must be quite hard to fit it in sometimes, but I make it work because I don't have a full-time job. Basically, how an advance usually works, I got my editor to word it out, so I might read from the thing so I'm being correct. So, how an advance usually works. An advance is the sum of money the author is paid up front signing a book contract. Now, this sum of money differentiates. She's an author and she can't say that word. This sum of money is different to every single person. I don't know what other people have got, I only know what I've got, and yeah. So it's paid up front upon signing your book contract. So it's paid in parts. Let's say your advance was £1,000. That £1,000 would be paid in instalments. You get the biggest chunk of the money upon signing the contract. So I did, for me. I got my biggest part of money upon signing the contract. And then upon delivery of the finished manuscript. So actually, depending how long that takes you, that could be a long, long time. Especially if you haven't even written the book yet. For me, I think we worked through it quite well. It took a fair amount of months. Probably 6, maybe. Upon hardback publication is when you get your next instalment. So for me, I should get my next instalment on November. And then, lastly, upon paperback publication. So, don't know when mine's coming out in paperback, I think April, so then it will be April. Obviously, an advance differentiates. Obviously, the advance is different to different people. It is really rare unless you're very, very successful. It's like acting or singing. Unless you're very successful, it's really hard to make a lot of money out of it. At least that's my perspective. I don't know. I'm very lucky that I have YouTube and I have presenting and I have all my other stuff that I'm not doing the writing for the money. So I was just bonus. I just want to have my book out there. Right, so yeah, what my editor said, the advance is spread out over the years it takes for the book to be written and published. So let's say it is £1,000. That could spread out over 2 years, depending on how long your book is published. I mean, I got my book deal last year, because I remember I was 20 at the time, and I remember being like, oh my god, I'm going to be 21 when my book gets published. So yeah, like, it's not like, whew. Another way authors earn money is also royalties. It's from people buying your book, and you get a little percentage of that. Here's where a lot of people have the misunderstanding. So you get your advance, and it's called an advance for a reason. It's essentially you getting your royalties in advance. So I believe how it works, whatever your advance is what they think that is the amount of copies you're going to sell, if that makes sense. You don't actually start making your royalties until you sell the amount of copies that adds up to your advance. I think it's basically like saying, look, you've put all this work in, you are going to still make some money from it, and you basically get that money in advance so you can, I guess, kind of live and work. This is good because it means if your book totally flops, hopefully mine won't, please pre-order it. If your book totally flops, it means that, you still got that money. You don't have to give it back. You still got that money. If you don't sell that amount, that's fine, but you won't start making royalties. However, if you make more, fabulous. It's great, you're making royalties out of it. So yeah, that is the bit that scares me a little bit. Because I do believe, I think if you don't make up your advance, it probably doesn't look very good, and I think it'd probably be harder to get another book deal. So yeah, that is the bit that scares me, but I'm guessing my publishers have faith with me, otherwise they wouldn't have given me my certain amount of money. But yeah, that's kind of about publishing, and that's about the truth about my book payment and how I'm being paid for it. I didn't really tell you how much I'm earning, but then you get an understanding, and it's not like every single book goes straight in my bank account, or it's not like my advance was just all one big sum of money at the beginning. It's very well structured, and it's really well thought out, and I really like the way it's like a little bonus. I think from my perspective, it is hard to make it your full-time career, but I guess when you've got a couple books down the line, you might be making royalties from those books while you're writing another book, and then, because, right now, there's no way I could do it. I think another way, people make money from writing is by selling rights, so selling rights to plays, TVs, films, something that I won't worry about because it's not going to happen. I don't know, maybe going to events or maybe doing talks, I really don't know, but yeah, that's a perspective from a first-time debut author on how the book works. I hope it's understandable. I hope I haven't been just rambling away. I've got something else written here. The last thing I wrote down there was, please buy my book.